In a move that is bound to shock marketers, Dangote Petroleum Refinery, that was last Wednesday, announced a temporary suspension of sales of petroleum products in Naira, the Nigerian currency. The company announced in a statement published on its social media handles that it will begin sales of petroleum products to marketers in dollars. Dangote Refinery hinged its decision to begin the sale of petroleum products to marketers in dollars on the need to align with the currency with which it is buying most of its crude supplies outside the country. The statement by the company reads, now I'm going to read exactly what the company posted. We wish to inform you that Dangote Petroleum Refinery has temporarily halted the sales of petroleum products in Naira. This decision is necessary to avoid a mismatch between their sales proceeds and the crude oil they purchase, which are currently denominated in dollars. The company also denied claims that it will stopped loading of petroleum products from its refinery because of a technical fault. Well, let's talk to Dr. Gillis Harris. He is the president of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron. He joins us live from Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon for having me.
Yeah, I think it's good to start what this really means. For us as Nigerians, we just understand that if there is a sale of petroleum products in dollars, it means that one way or the other, the price of PMS might go up again. So we are concerned. Please take us through what it means for us as customers and as users of these products.
Well, we are in the business, and every day we hear different updates. And Dangote's announcement for us, it didn't come so much as a shock because we believe that different circumstances will make businessmen or entrepreneurs or companies make decisions that are apt to what those situations are. So the announcement has been made, but as it is today, we have not been asked to pay dollar yet for products that we paid prior to now. So maybe it will be from next rounds of purchases. But even at that, we will expect to know the dynamics of how this will be, which so far we have not seen. If eventually it happens that we are going to start looking for US dollars to pay for refined product, then it's as good as us coming back to the days where we have to look for money to import. And so, of course, that is going to impact the prices in the retail outlets.
Impact prices, then there will be pressure on FX, which will definitely hit on the Naira and comes back to us as Nigerians. Now, can you help us also identify some of the positives of that Naira for crude deal that we've been enjoying, I think, since October last year?
Well, just to take your mind back a little bit, several months ago, about 9 or 10 months ago, Petron started the advocacy of calling for Nigerian crude to be sold in currency denominated in the Nigerian Naira. And our reason for advocating for that at that time was we were very certain that if there was a massive production of refined product in country, it will stabilize the price, guarantees supplies, and the suffering that Nigerians were having with scarcity and difficulties with the vagaries of weather and vessel leases and shipwreckage and all that will not have been there. So we're very happy as an organization that the President Bola Ahmed-led government eventually zeroed down that policy for whatever best values that they have also computed, and we applauded it. So the benefits are many. One, it will reduce the pressure on the foreign exchange for Nigerians because over 70% of our foreign exchange earnings were going to settle petroleum products that were being imported. And then that didn't leave any room for other requirements that should grow the economy. Technology, development, production, agric, and so on and so forth. So those values were very much in our forefront while we advocated. We also knew that selling the Nigerian crude oil in the Nigerian Naira will also ensure that the Naira value keeps increasing day by day. But now that we're hearing this kind of decisions coming from the refiners, we need to be patient to hear what the final analysis will be. So far, I think it was announced that it was a temporary measure. So we'll see how it goes.
Interesting stuff, because from our own investigation and some questions we've asked as journalists, we hear that some oil marketers are hoarding products. We hear that some are beginning to hammer PMS so that by the time the price is increased, they begin to sell at the new prices. And some even say, I was able to confirm this morning, that some depot owners have already started increasing prices, leading to concerns about profiteering. But I don't know if you've heard anything around that.
Well, we were actually going to have a joint press interview with Mugasa and other stakeholders in the industry, which we have not done. We needed to call our members not to get engaged in panic buying, and also not to rush in buying prices that have been hiked from any source, whether it's from the refiners or from depots or from importers. So we are yet to get to those bases. We have most of our retail outlets are wet, and we are selling to Nigerians at the price for which it was it has been sold in the last few weeks. So we are going to advise our members exactly what to do. But as it is today, I don't recall any petrol member anywhere within our jurisdiction that is hoarding petroleum products.
All right, then. Now, let's take a look at the deregulation process in its entirety. Some analysts have argued that looking at the process which we've taken, the removal of subsidy and some of it, are we following the PIA to the latter, considering the implementation of our Deregulation Act and all of that?
Well, the PIA by itself has its own process that we applaud. But we also have several reasons why we think that the PIA should be revisited. The need to revisit that, I think, every day becomes more and more clearer. So that's where we are. And we'll wait to see what the government will do. Petrol, as a responsible organization, has written a few messages to talk about the PIA. But the regulation are certain from May 29, 2023. A full deregulation certain a couple of months back, about 7 months now, we have entered into full deregulation. So we do hope, that we will continue to work on it until we perfect the terms of the regulation.
Again, can I ask you if we also heard in some quarters that the landing cost of imported fuel in some cases is lesser than even what we get in some of our local refineries in country?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you must have seen the press release that I authorized by my national publicity officer, Dr. Joseph Obele, that we were concerned about prices and requesting for price stability to be affected by the NMDPRA and other regulatory agencies, calling in the Federal Consumer Protection Council to come in and ensure, that prices of any kind, whether prices going up or prices coming down, are properly regulated and they meet the provisions of the PIA that gives us a sense of direction on the pricing mechanism that we should be able to apply for every refined product. Other than that, I think that the PIA itself needs to be revisited on so many points.
revisiting that PIA, that's another round of work. But I think we'll be looking at how stories go along that line. Again, to the Dangote Refinery and the role of a national oil company in Nigeria, for a country like Nigeria. I'd like to ask you, many say that the issue of monopoly should not come into this. So the oil company, that's a national oil company, still has a role to play in supplying of products and maybe some of their refineries that are now operational. In your understanding as a professional in this industry, do you think that a private entity can take over the role of a national oil company in a country?
Well, what is a national oil company? In every climate, as I know it, oil is a major revenue earner. Saudi Arabia, ditto. Libya, and different companies, different countries. There is a national oil company that's also privatized and run as a private company.
I was asking you about the role of the oil company. I didn't get that till we went had some issues.
Well, clearly, I want to know what oil company you're talking about. If you are talking about NNPCL as it is today,
yes, NNPC.
It's still a public company.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a limited liability company that's owned by Nigeria and Nigerians.
Yeah.
So I really don't. I can't really clearly make any difference between a public corporation and the private company in that regard. Okay. If you are trying to compare that to my company as a limited liability company, it should be looking for just the pin in a haystack. So as far as I'm concerned, NNPCL is still a national company and is doing national assignment. And that's why the officers are still being appointed by the presidency.
Almost finally now, looking at back to Dangote Refinery again, which of course 650,000 barrels per day capacity. Analysts have also argued about being a single train refinery. And for example, if there is a turnaround maintenance, what happens to production? Would that not cause a bit of problem or hiccups regards to supply across the country?
Well, Dangote Refinery is just one refinery among many refineries that's coming up.
Good.
We have a refinery that's almost ready to be commissioned in Bayelsa State, Ezekiel Refinery. Good. We have a few modular refineries that are working across the country. Walter Smith, Edo Refinery, Niger Delta Refinery, and a few other refineries that are coming up. The NNPC refineries, 2 of them are up. 2 are still being inspected. 1 is an advanced stage of being completed. So I believe that before Dangote as a single train refinery will go or turnaround maintenance, it will take quite a long while. And if it does happen, it will be phased, I believe, and planned in a way that should not affect the production.
So at the end of the day now, what would be your outlook? 2 things. Crude production, government intends to ramp up production and, of course, to meet up budgetary outlook and all of that. What is your outlook for the entire industry and, of course, for crude production in 2025?
Petron's advice to the federal government and the NUPRC, and indeed the leadership of the oil industry, is think out of the box and ramp up production and work out a process where production is made strictly for local consumption. So we can be able to have a run game in our own way, dictate our rules and dictate our times. We are OPEC company, we're OPEC production company, but we should have plans for domestic liberty and freedom. My projected outlook in the industry is hopefully none of the political activities that's happening so far will deteriorate the income expectation and production, ramping up and increase capacity for the country. We hope that all the pipelines that are being destroyed will be repaired as fast as possible, and there should be peace in River State and all the other states would return to normalcy in the public space, especially with the issues of the governors being suspended and all of that. But other than that, I think that Nigeria is in a trajectory. Mr. Komalafe Gbenga is doing a great job. The Honorable Minister of petroleum oil is doing a fantastic job. The oil minister of petroleum gas is also doing a great job. And I think collaboratively, all of them are working towards ensuring that Nigeria grows a better capacity and bigger capacity to give our energy security a boost and ensure that we are able to enjoy the proceeds of what God has naturally endowed us with.
It's been interesting talking to you, I must say, this Monday afternoon. Dr. Billy Gilihari, thank you so very much. President, Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petran. Thank you so much and have a great week. And we expect that the price of fuel should still be stable as Nigerians. Thank you for your time.
Well, we shouldn't gamble on that because everything about pricing is dictated by market forces, production costs, and how the market, reacts to all of that. So our prayer as Petron is that we should always have affordable price. We should try as much as we can to make sure energy security is guaranteed. Petroleum product is affordable, available at all times. And we do wish Nigerians will enjoy this. This is our heart's wish, and thank you for having me today.
All right, then. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.